Just before we get started with the episode, I have some news. Yes, indeed. It has been a long time since I've had some news, so strap in, friends, because I have some shows for you to take the whole gang, the whole compadres together. First, starting with Once Upon a Time in Hamilton, Part 2, as a matter of fact, Saturday, October the 29th. It is a conglomerate of Pro Wrestling Ontario and New School Wrestling. As a matter of fact, they are having a costume contest for us fans in which whoever wins gets 2 tickets to their next show in November the 20th through to the 26th. So get your tickets now. And it is going to be taking place at the Germania Club of Hamilton. Get those tickets now. Also, Smash Wrestling. Oh, yes, Smash Wrestling and WXW. November the 19th at the Toronto Rec Room. Tickets are on sale now, and here's the fun part of this one. It is being recorded for the WWE Network. Yes, support Canadian independent wrestling. There is no better time to be a Canadian independent wrestling fan. You can get to be on the WWE Network. That is downtown Toronto's Rec Room. Once again, November the 19th, Toronto, Ontario. Get your tickets now. Flock, I tell you, to the downtown core and get your wrestling action. But until then, it's on with the show. The Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode 25. Oh yes, it's time for a Slamboree. It has been a long time, friends. It is I, KJ Johnson, alongside a man who, back in high school, literally got up and walked away from me for 3 months. And went to spend some time with Spanish friends. So his nickname for this week is...
I'm never going to live that down.
His nickname for this week is very just. It is the J-Dog, Just John. How's it going, friend?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you remember that?
Oh, yeah. No one ever lets me live those 3 months down.
Never. You got up from a McDonald's after we were teasing you a bit too much.
And I was never seen from again.
For a whole semester, you thought to yourself, you know what? Let me get back to my roots. Let me explore my Spanish brethren.
Oh, my God. But that didn't last forever. And we're back, and now we're potting.
Full circle.
You know?
Come full circle. You found out where your bread was buttered.
Oh my God!
How's it going, my man? It has been a long time.
Oh yeah,
since we have potted together.
What, like 2 weeks now?
At least
2 weeks?
At least, yeah. You know, it's our usual standard of.
We give you a good pod one week, and then we just disappear.
Put our heart and soul into one episode, and then take 2 weeks to recover. It's our usual thing.
Listen, these are just too damn good. We need our recovery time.
You know? What have you been up to during the hiatus, good sir?
Nothing much. Same old. Working, wrestling, and that's about it. That's about it.
Have you been enjoying current day wrestling? Anything exciting happening for you?
Oh yeah. The WWE product's getting a lot better. We got the return of Bray. I don't think we talked about it on the last episode.
We have not. Yes.
Bloodline stuff still going Ghostbusters. Still going fucking amazing. everything they do is just fucking gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole MJF babyface run has been incredible. Mm-hmm. He had a back and forth with William Regal that was really, really good.
It was quite good.
Yeah.
I did get to see that.
Yes. It's been a good little stretch of wrestling so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm.
I don't know how this year's gonna end, but so far it's been good.
I mean, it's been turbulent. It has been turbulent to say the least, with the Elite and the CM Punks of the world.
But I hear rumors that the Elite are planning to come back. I think they're saying that it might just be kind of like a backstage role for a little bit, but you know, it's good to see that they're moving past all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's water under the bridge and they can just get on with it. Get on with life.
I'm tired of waking up and seeing more AEW backstage bullshit. So hopefully they can fix whatever the hell's going on back there.
Business is business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but we have some business ourselves. Slamboree 1997.
Yep.
Where we left off with Spring Stampede 97, a show in which we weren't even going to review in the first place. But now that we have, I have to say, I was very happy when I threw on this Slamboree 97 with the context of Spring Stampede. Were you hyped for Slamboree?
I was, just because with context, like actually living through the 97 WCW run, a lot of these matches just feel more important now.
Indeed.
And then the main event as well with the Outsiders and Flair and Piper. I wanted to see what that was gonna be like. So it was a very, very good watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, where we left off in the timeline was that the NWO was starting to splinter cell. We had a Hollywood Hogan that was, dancing in Chicago with Mr. Dennis Rodman for movie premieres and such. We had Kevin Nash and Syxx. They're performing a little bit of a bond here, and they're recruiting what it seems to be kind of like Buff Bagwell's a little bit on their side. Scott Norton's a little on their side. It's a little weird.
And we got to give a lot of credit to Kevin Nash, because since Spring Stampede, Hulk Hogan, it's Hulk Hogan, so he's there every now and then.
Yes.
Scott Hall had to go to rehab, so he's been holding down the entire NWO, just him and fucking Syxx.
Yeah.
And Nash has been cutting some really, really good promos throughout the build up to Slamboree.
Yes.
So gotta give him some love.
He's been doing very, very good. And along with the NWO turmoil, we also have more of a presence of Sting on Monday Nitro. Specifically looking to target Eric Bischoff, it seems. Eric Bischoff, who is on probation with WCW, so he doesn't have as much power. He's not allowed to abuse his status too much now that he's back on television, but he's been taunting Sting, saying that he doesn't want any of Hogan, pretending that he can and cannot find him. But Sting has been putting the battle line down. He's been laying the groundwork with guys like DDP. He's been attacking NWO Sting. And so I mean, the Sting feud or the Sting storyline is now at a point that makes a lot more sense and is a lot more compelling to watch.
What, you didn't like the first part?
I hated the first part. The first part made absolutely no sense at all. But here we are. Diamond Dallas Page, Macho Man. They were the main event of last month's show. However, both men banged up from such a thing, like Macho Man hurt his foot in the post-match scrum, and he was out for a couple of weeks, alongside DDP hurting his shoulder in the matchup, so a lot of injury there. Building up to the next pay-per-view, which is going to be The Bash.
And how do you feel about this pay? Because Spring Stampede was main evented by Macho Man and DDP.
Yes.
This one's being main evented by Wolfpack, Flair, returning Flair, a football player and Piper. Like, how do you feel that, like, kind of like the main event scene for the last 2 pay-per-views? A lot less Hogan, like basically no Hogan. Like,
yes.
Because for me, like, star power wise, I guess Flair was still a big thing back in the day.
Yes.
And Piper was still a big thing. But for me, like, I feel like the star power kind of like went down for the last 2 pay-per-views. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to be seeing Hogan until Bash at the Beach. So we still have another 2 pay-per-views pretty much. We have this one and the Great American Bash before we see Hogan in wrestling action. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right in terms of you're not dealing with megastar Hogan, and Piper is being put into a side character role rather than being a full-on main eventer. Lex Luger is not on this show, to my knowledge. Yeah, not on this show. Sting is not here. The Giant only makes a cameo appearance. So, yeah, I mean, the main event is intriguing. It's an intriguing match because you get the return of Ric Flair, you get the Outsiders and Syxx, you get the Wolfpack, and you know that they can put on good matches when they're on their game. And then you have Kevin Greene, who has wrestled a match at the previous year's Slamboree, I do believe. So he does have a little bit of wrestling experience, not too much. So yeah, going into this show, there were a lot of questions and asterisks as to whether or not this was going to be a train wreck of a show or it was going to be brilliant.
Yeah, because I was looking at, before I started watching the show, I was looking at the card for the show, and I had that same thought. I'm like, this is either going to be a decent pay-per-view or terrible.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
And I mean, there is a little bit of magic in the air when you're going into a pay-per-view that you don't know where it's going to go. If it's going to be horrid or it's going to be great, because there is a huge emphasis on football stars tonight.
Yes.
Huge emphasis.
Yes.
And we will get into as to whether or not that works to their detriment or it works in their favor, because that's the thing about celebrities and not even part-time wrestler, non-wrestler cameo wrestling appearances. With the WWE, I feel that they did a lot better of a job at utilizing the celebrities or utilizing the cameos, whereas I think the WCW has relied on it way too much. They go to the well so many times with sports stars and appear, because football stars today, basketball stars tomorrow, and you know they're going to be using talk show hosts later on in life.
And when they're going into a city and they get like one of the guys from that city to come down and just, you know, do the classic heel shit with Hogan or come down with, you know, one of the baby faces, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're putting, I think we had 2 matches with football players in them. It's a risky move.
Yeah.
It's a risky move.
Not to mention that they're both getting top billing, semi-main event and main event respectively.
Like you're closing out your show with these. Like if one stinks, the next one is still another celebrity. So,
it's a wicked way to end. Let me tell you what. So before we get into the show itself, it is of course, would you rather?
Let's do it.
Yes, it is the big time. The big time. Where we left off was April the 7th. And this next month, because it's a long time in between pay-per-views, like we are talking April the 6th for Spring Stampede, and then it is May the 18th for Slamboree. So we have quite a few shows. And the way that things go are going to be quite exciting. So have your ears perked, my friend. Monday Night Raw gets a 2.19 rating. Ugh. With the main event segment being Austin versus Mankind.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Nitro scoring a 3.69, incredible stuff, in which, and I will put a little bit more context into this, it says DDP, Sting, Hogan, and Savage angle. Now, specifically, this would be when DDP calls out Macho Man Randy Savage after Hollywood Hogan and the NWO bury the hatchet, brother. All right? If you can be cool with me, I can be cool with you. Do we have a deal? It was literally what that was.
Okay.
And then, Macho Man being hurt with a broken ankle, Hollywood Hogan comes out and says, "You've always had my back, brother. Let me do this one for you. Let me beat the shit out of DDP for you, my dude."
Okay.
With the rest of the NWO behind him. And then, for one of the first times on Monday Nitro, from the rafters comes Sting. He throws a bat to Diamond Dallas Page. He has a second bat for himself. He holds off every member of the NWO. It is a huge pop, a huge moment. And then we go off the air. So what would you rather?
Well, after that explanation, I think I'll go with the angle. Yeah, that sounds fucking badass.
It was good business. Good business. Here we go. April the 14th, Raw scores a 2.18. Ahmed Johnson versus Crush.
Oh my god. Oh no.
To Nitro's 3.49, in which they have Lex Luger versus Kevin Nash.
Because I don't want to sound like we're being paid by WCW, but god damn, I'm going with WCW.
Oh man, yes.
I want to see Crush.
Now, here is where things get very interesting.
Okay.
April the 28th, Raw scores a 3.44, in which Austin takes on the British Bulldog, to Monday Nitro's 2.7.
What happened there?
Ric Flair and Roddy Piper taking on the Wolfpack at an angle. What happens here is that Roddy Piper and Ric Flair have a match with Hall and Nash, but it goes short on time. And they have to fill the space for 5 minutes with a really shitty brawl.
Okay.
So Raw beats Nitro in the ratings.
But what was going on there? What?
I will let you know at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the actual wrestling match that finished.
Okay. Yes. Excuse me. It was 3.44. Undertaker versus British Bulldog. Forgive me.
Undertaker versus British Bulldog.
Because the next week, May the 5th, 3.44 for Raw once again, with Austin versus the Bulldog, whereas Nitro pulls in a 2.58. Giant and DDP versus Harlem Heat.
I'll go Giant DDP and Harlem Heat.
Okay. And the final stop for us, Raw scores a 3.2. What the fuck? With a Bret Hart interview as the main event segment. Meanwhile, Nitro pulls in a 2.83 with the Sting Eric Bischoff angle, in which Sting takes out fake NWO Sting and causes Eric Bischoff to go running through the crowd.
Are the Hart family needle movers? What the fuck is going on? I'm gonna go with WCW again. Yes. I want to see Sting.
Now, what had happened?
Okay.
And this is where the big asterisk comes in, because we have always been told 83 consecutive weeks they won in the ratings. They beat Raw in the ratings 83 weeks in a row. Well, not when they were going up against the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals preempted them for a month and a half. So only the last hour of Monday Nitro went up against Monday Night Raw. And Raw had themselves an extra unopposed hour. So,
that makes a lot of sense.
Because I was shocked myself. Until I started digging in a little deeper, because these are the highest ratings that Raw has gotten.
Yeah.
since we've started this, 3.44s and all that jazz up in the threes.
And like you were saying, like the whole thing of this whole war was the 83 weeks. So.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. So now it is, you have to put an asterisk next to it because it is 83 consecutive weeks head to head with Raw,
starting at the exact same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anytime they were preempted with the Westminster Dog Show for Raw, and apparently the NBA Finals for Nitro. There you have it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Would you indeed rather? And now, without further ado, let's get on with the actual review of Slamboree 1997.
Chicago rivalry off the gridiron and into the ring. One would gain the other's respect in the WCW's Black and Blue division. WCW or NWO. Piper is a true icon in the sport. The Nature Boy has defined excellence in World Championship Wrestling. Wildcard Kevin Greene will aid in carrying the rich WCW tradition. The Outsiders and Syxx have hurled a barrage of insults in the direction of the veterans. The NWO is on a campaign to replace honor with disgrace. This triple threat will engage forces as WCW faces the NWO at Slamboree.
Beautiful.
Great intro.
I mean, it's amazing to me that this is probably the only time where Mongo gets top billing.
I just love that's such a serious intro, and then the name of the show is Slamboree.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of football. I guess we have a lot of sports on the brain at the moment. The NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Football aplenty. Sports is right in there with the wrestling fans. So maybe this is right on the pulse of the wrestling fandom for 1997.
It's not.
It's not? You don't think so? Do you know anything about our football players that will be in action tonight?
Not these. These guys were before my time. I've heard of them, but I've never, especially Reggie White, but
yes.
Never seen them in action or seen highlights.
And did you do any sports journalism for our podcast, seeing as you had weeks and weeks of preparation?
On who? On Reggie White and Greene?
Yes.
No.
Unreal. Well, never fear. Okay. Because
don't tell me you have information.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
No, but in terms of journalism,
okay,
in terms of getting statistics and understanding information, okay. All right, because even though we are diving into the case study of Hollywood Hogan and Roddy Piper, okay, and even though we have already done months and months and months of pay-per-view buy rates and numbers and attendances, it doesn't really matter because it's all about the numbers tonight. Cue up the music. May 18th. We are in Charlotte, North Kakalaki. We are in Flair country.
Flair country, baby.
Yes, at the Bojangles Coliseum.
That's not what it's called.
It is. It is the Bojangles Coliseum. I mean, it's the Independence Arena, probably for here.
Yeah.
But it has since been named the Bojangles. And that is absolutely... No. Since it has been renamed the Bojangles Coliseum, you bet your ass that we are going to be talking about the Bojangles Coliseum.
Slamboree at the Bojangles Coliseum.
Slamboree at the Bojangles. You know, what more can you ask for? Yes, it is all about the numbers. 9,643. And we are sold out, my dear friend. Mm-hmm. The pay-per-view buy rate is 165,000, which translates to a 0.60 buy, which of course is up significantly from the previous year at 110,000 buys. The gate, the ticket sales, the moolah, where the bread and butter is made, all right? The difference between bologna and filet mignon. $167,705 at the gate. How do you feel about those numbers, Just Jono?
You're the numbers guy, bro.
You excited? Do those numbers titillate you?
They tickle. They tickle in all the wrong places.
All the wrong places.
All the wrong ones.
All right. Well, they're all right for me. They're all right for me.
What's happening?
Here at the Bojangles. I am ready to start the show, Just John.
Yeah, let's do it, buddy. I thought you were still doing numbers.
No, I am all through with the numbers, man.
Let's get it going.
We're head first. I mean, we have, of course, Tony Schiavone.
Yes.
Dusty Rhodes. Baby the Brain Hebel. On the desk, which of course will be joined later on. As a matter of fact, for this first match, we'll be joined by the Professor, Mike Tenay. Yes, so we're gonna have a 4-man booth to kick us off.
Yep.
This was an interesting match. It is match number 1 for the World Television title, in which Steven Regal, no longer a lord, takes on television champion, the Ultimate Dragon, no longer Prince Iaukea. Yes, so it was in fact the Ultimate Dragon who beat Prince Iaukea the next night on Monday Nitro, I believe, if I can remember from way, way back when, eons ago, at Spring Stampede when we recorded that review, that we were starting to come around to the old Prince Iaukea.
Yeah, I was starting to like him a little bit, and then they just snatched him away from us.
Took it right away. Yeah. Do you think... Now, I know. We have Steven Regal. We have the Ultimate Dragon. These two are obviously the better choice. But do you feel that they should have hung on to the Prince Iaukea experiment a little bit longer?
Oh, 100%. Again, I wasn't the biggest fan when he first started, when we first started reviewing him, of course. But he started growing on me. And also, it's like, if you're going to go through with this, at least give him a proper ending, not just kind of like on a Nitro. Yeah,
no build, right? No feud, no nothing.
I don't give him like a proper feud, even if it's a very short one, but at least like a proper competitor. You know, I would have much rather them have Ray or Regal take it from him that they already have a little bit of history than just
they have Dragon, a built-in thing going on,
but Dragon murdering him for the title.
And that's pretty much what it was. I mean, Ultimate Dragon danced absolute circles around Prince Iaukea and then took a belt on him. But here's the weird thing about this. One, they've renamed him to the Ultimate Dragon. No, thank you. He will remain Ultimo.
I think they were tired of Bobby Heenan butchering his name.
Yes. But also, he's going through the process of a little bit of a face turn.
Yes.
But also, Steven Regal seems to be going through a bit of a face turn as well. He was very, very popular tonight.
Yeah, and first of all, we got to give a huge shout out to this crowd. This crowd was electric.
White hot crowd.
The complete opposite from
the
last one.
Honestly, yeah. Even I think even uncensored or something. We've had a couple of them. I think we've had a couple of pay-per-views where we've had a pretty quiet crowd, especially at the beginning and the middle portions. But not tonight.
No.
Charlotte was here. They were ready to go.
Even for the football players that were out.
Yes.
This was a great crowd.
Yeah, so Regal has dropped the Lord of his name. He's looking to, treat himself a bit more seriously. And he says that the television title is the only title that is worth anything to him. He doesn't care about the U.S. belt because he's not a U.S. citizen. And he doesn't care about the defaced World Heavyweight title either. So, oddly enough, Regal has some pretty good standing to actually want to big up the television title.
Yeah, no, he makes a very valid point.
Yes, and Mike Tenay hypes it as well. Mike Tenay at the very beginnings of the match as they're going through their, classic wrestling tie-ups, holds, Mike Tenay hypes up the television belt and he calls out Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty Rhodes is just like, hush, don't talk to me. Don't talk about my title reign. I know that it was a great title reign, but don't talk about it. Oh, hush, being all bashful. But Mike Tenay says that it's an incredibly difficult belt to keep hold of once you win it because you have time limit stipulations that you have to deal with. You have to defend it a lot more often than any other belt in the WCW. I really like what they did here. I don't know if they feel that they have to do some rehabilitation work because it was on Prince Iaukea. Because they weren't hyping up the belt when Prince was holding it.
No. I think it's more of just like this is going to be a belt that's going to be featured more promptly on TV. So they have to do a little bit more to hype it up because, again, I don't think Prince was a terrible champ that it stained the title's prestige.
Right?
Like it wasn't that bad.
Sounded like it. Yeah. Just the way that they had to rate from the outside.
But I think because it was on him, it kind of got put to the side a little bit as this is just a title that they're going to be giving out to whoever they think might be the next guy, right?
Yes.
So now they have to be like, no, this isn't what that belt's for. This is a legit belt that, the top guys in the company are going to compete for. We just tried something and it didn't work. But
back to your regularly scheduled program.
Exactly.
Don't worry, everyone.
Exactly.
Yes. So these two are pretty well versed in the technical aspects of things. Yes. These are two technical wrestlers. So I was interested in this match right out the gate. Regal tries to use submissions, and both men are using holds and locks with the arms, but nobody can really get an advantage. Regal then hits a gut wrench suplex. That is good mat wrestling. And then a drop kick by the Dragon out of nowhere. Fantastic. The Dragon lights up the crowd with kicks to take down Steven Regal, a leg scissors and submission. But Regal is able to reverse and tries for the Regal stretch, and that is the story of the match. Yes. Is that Regal is trying to get the Regal stretch on him, and Ultimate Dragon will not let it happen.
Yep.
Yes. So he gets to the ropes, does the Dragon, so Regal just puts the boots in, just stomping away on the Dragon until he gets out of here. He's doing everything he can to keep away from the Regal stretch, but Regal starts working on the legs and the back. And here you come with the Regal chants, loud and proud. It brought a tear to my eye.
This crowd was amazing, man. Yeah, and especially for this match, they were through the roof for not only Dragon, but Regal as well.
Yes. It was a great back and forth where the fans were kind of 50-50 split down the middle. It was beautiful. A handspring back elbow by the Dragon. He's able to get a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. The crowd is still firmly on Regal's side here, though. He ends up missing the moonsault. But then the underhook powerbomb by Regal gets reversed into the Quebrada moonsault I don't know if you had your ears perked up and listening for the K-Brada. Mike Tenay says that. On the outside, Regal is sent out, and Ultimo Dragon looks to go for like a splash of some sort over the top, but Regal just nopes him. Just walks right on out the way.
One of the funniest moves I've seen. Like, I know Samoa Joe does it a lot, but that's one of the funniest things. And same thing, I saw that and cracked me up the second he did it. I'm like, this is such a heel move to do. It's perfect. It's amazing.
It's perfect.
It's great.
While Regal is on the outside, he gets whipped into the rail by the Dragon, and then Dragon gets back into the ring. Sonny Ono begins to attack Steven Regal.
Yeah.
But it doesn't last for long. The Dragon actually gets out, rolls him back in. Sonny Ono is like, I wasn't finished giving him the kicks.
And Dragon was like, yeah, you shouldn't have started.
You shouldn't have. You're getting in my business. You're getting him away. A little bit more back and forth. Regal is able to take advantage for a little bit, but he gets sent back to the outside once again. And Ono is kicking away. The Dragon comes back out a second time and throws Regal back in. Sonny Bono has had enough. Sonny Ono with a spin kick right to the back of Ultimo Dragon's neck. Right to his neck.
And I think it was either Bobby or Dusty that said, that's probably an accident.
Yeah, he's got like a 15-second tape delay where he sees Regal roll back in and he just...
Like, Regal's completely in the ring and he kicks the shit out of the Dragon. They're like, yeah, it's probably a mistake.
Yes. No. But Regal is able to take control. A reverse suplex. Regal stretch. Your 4-time television champion, Steven Regal. Huge pop. Great opening match. What did you think?
Amazing opening match. Definitely one of those like hidden gems that like people don't talk about enough, but should be. These two guys were amazing. The whole story that they were telling the entire time. It was great. It was a great match.
And a bit of a breath of fresh air, because typically we have seen that the cruiserweights are the ones that start the action, that start the show off. Yeah. And in this case, we had 2 technicians to kick us off. And they put on a fantastic match. I really want to, at the end of our final thing here, I think we need to rank our top 3 opening matches, because there's not been a bad one of the bunch, and I don't know where to put any of these matches anymore.
We definitely have to do like a little special at the end of all of this where we just rank all these opening matches.
Jesus, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, great opener. Into match number 2. We have Luna Vachon taking on Medusa. Ooh, my goodness. Luna Vachon. Have you watched a lot of Luna?
No, I've watched a lot of Medusa. I haven't watched a lot of Luna.
Did you watch Luna's Dark Side of the Ring episode when it came out?
I don't think I did, to be honest. No, I don't think I did.
It was a good one. She had a rough time in the business, let me tell you. Luna is suffering from a lot of mental health issues. She just had a very rough time in the business. She kind of was with Moolah in the compound for a little bit.
Okay. I think I might have seen that episode. If it's the Moolah one, I think I've seen it.
No. So it's not Moolah specifically, but she started out with Moolah a little bit, and then she was able to break out on her own. She's, of course, related to Mad Dog Vachon, the Butcher Vachon. But she always struggled with like paranoid schizophrenia and stuff like that. The WWF, when she was there, never took her seriously as a women's wrestler. She's never won a women's world title in any major promotion, which is kind of fascinating when you think about Luna being one of the more standout characters in women's wrestling in the 90s.
Who's also been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, long old time. But a funny story that comes out of the Dark Side of the Ring episode was one night, Medusa, who was the champion in WWF as Alundra Blaze for ages, never had any competition. So at a house show, it was Luna and Medusa was supposed to go over and was supposed to win. And Medusa spent the entire night trying to convince Luna to win, to just take the belt. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, she should drop the belt. Like, why not? They don't care about it. I'm on my way out the door. Because this is 1995 when she's about to leave for WCW. So she's like, fucking why not? They're not doing anything with us anyway. Why not just switch the belt? Who cares? And Luna wouldn't do it. Luna refused. She was too afraid to do it. So she had an interesting life, but
I definitely have to check that one out then.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, so Luna in her debut match here starts off by slapping the shit out of Medusa.
Always a great way to start your match. Just slap the shit out of your opponent.
Yes, Luna with the clubbing blows. She's kind of strutting around the ring a little bit. All of a sudden, Medusa goes nutso, firing off the right hands, hitting his spin wheel kick, all that jazz. Luna is able to get right back in control and deliver some chokes, a claw to the belly.
That Luna does a weird ass submission in this match where she just like grabs onto Medusa's stomach and like just squeezes it.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It's a classic claw, classic claw.
So that was weird. Yeah, I can't. It was a weird spot.
Not a fan of it. No.
We see another weird submission in a match later. That's similar to this one.
Well, Medusa gets out of the weird submission.
No shit, her whole
you can rest easy.
All of her limbs are free. Just get up.
You can rest easy. Stinger splashes by Medusa on both sides of the corner. A clothesline, and she lands on her head. Does Luna gets a huge pop from the crowd, like it was ugly. Luna lands all on the back of her neck and her head. But Luna recovers pretty well. Splash. It goes for the big splash to Medusa, but misses. And then a German suplex in the win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a lot of time given to this match. Very much like Medusa and Hokuto in the previous engagement that they had.
We don't start seeing good women's wrestling till like now. Like it's so because you can tell that these two girls can go. I haven't seen a lot from Luna, but just in this match, she has the charisma.
Yes.
Medusa has the fans on her side. She's one of the best female wrestlers at the time.
Indeed.
And the fact that they can't even get like 10 minutes when other people in this pay-per-view got 15. We're gonna get
save it.
Holy shit! But it's super disappointing because I really got into this match and I was like really into it, and then it's kind of like when we review like Big Boss Man matches, like it just ends.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? What just happened? So that was kind of disappointing, but still a pretty decent match for what they were given.
Hey, 5 minutes. They did a lot in their 5 minutes, but they should have gotten more for sure. Macho Man comes out to the ring.
Yes. Well, Mean Gene comes out first.
Oh, yes, of course. Mean.
Yeah.
By God. Gene.
And he's promoting the WCW hotline like every fucking
That's why I didn't care to write any of it down, because it's just for the hotline.
He's promoting the hotline. That's when there's a funny thing too. As he's promoting the hotline, Medusa's walking to the back, and he just like he's like, oh, there goes Medusa, so attractive. Anyways, so as he's talking about the hotline, NWO music hits. That's when Macho Man comes out.
Macho Man
takes the mic from him and goes straight to the ring.
He does, and he says, "I'm gonna murder the bum." It's essentially what he says. All right, that's the long and the short of it. That's what he says. All right.
The crowd starts chanting DDP though, which was
huge
cool.
DDP chants.
So that was pretty fucking cool.
DDP's stock has risen immensely since his victory over Spring Stampede.
Like overnight too. Over fucking night. Like it's crazy to see like from one pay-per-view to another, and then it's just getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. It's crazy.
He's got one of the best story arcs in our podcast right now, without question. DDP is a certified main eventer right now. He's like just on the cusp of becoming a megastar if this momentum continues. So huge DDP chance. DDP comes out through the crowd. He's carrying a broken crutch.
Yeah, because Macho Man says, hey, this DDP guy you guys are chanting about he doesn't want to fight me. So stop chanting, he doesn't want to fight me. And then like a second later,
here he comes.
DDP just comes out through the crowd with a crutch in his hand, ready to fight.
Yes.
And Macho Man hightails it out of there.
Runs up. Here comes the NWO.
Yep.
Here comes the New World Order. And then Page gets on the mic. He says, hey, I thought you wanted to feel the madness, you know? I thought you wanted to murder the bum. But obviously that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you have a previous engagement and it's not with Kimberly. That's my wife. It's probably not even with Liz because you're divorced. Now it's probably to wash Hogan's car and kiss his ass. And Macho Man taking off the glasses, taking off the shades. And he tells everybody individually to stand off to the side. And what I love about it is that he keeps saying, brother.
Yeah.
Like, brother, off to the side. Norton, brother, off to the side. And then he gets to Bischoff and he's like, brother, we've had our ups and downs, brother. Tell me something I don't know. Makes no sense.
I'm glad because I was watching it and I'm like, yo, this is such a badass moment. I don't know what he's getting at. I'm not sure if he's talking about something that happened on one of the Nitros that I just wasn't aware of. But he's just like, you know me. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Been through our ups and downs, brother.
I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that was confused.
But yeah, Macho Man marches down to the ring. He gets in. He immediately gets a whooping with the crutch.
I don't know what he was expecting.
Yeah, DDP beats the bejesus out of everybody except for the big tank himself, Scott Norton.
Yeah,
Scott Norton with a punch right in the spleen, right in the fucking spleen.
I think even Eric Bischoff got hit in that exchange.
He did. Everybody gets taken down for a moment until the Giant explodes down to the ring, who officially has nothing to do, seeing as he gave up his opportunity to have a world title match last month. So congratulations, big man. You thoroughly took yourself out of the main event picture.
And also, he changes between heel and face so much that when he went to do his signature arm raise thing, I thought he was going to choke slam DDP.
Yeah.
Like, I even flinched a little watching. I'm like, oh, shit. Is he going to do it?
It's coming. But no, it's just the Diamond Dallas Page and the Giants stand tall. And so it's going to end up Diamond Dallas Page versus Macho Man will main event again next month in a lights out match.
Yeah. And again, the crowd for this segment was crazy.
Beautiful.
Every second they ate all of it up. This was a great, just from everyone.
Yeah.
NWO, Randy Savage, The Giant, everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect.
You don't see this very much in current day wrestling where they use a pay-per-view to hype a match for the next pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's something that should be done a bit more often because it works. You have a lot of eyes on the product for your pay-per-views because more people are supposed to be watching the pay-per-views than your television.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take a big match and try to promote it 1 month in advance? Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
So there you go. This ought to be a good one.
Match number 3, Rey Mysterio versus Yuji. Insert name, last name here.
Rey Mysterio versus Yuji, Japanese last name. How very Dusty Rhodes of you.
before the match even starts, I just want to say that this is probably Rey Mysterio's most underrated gear that he has on. I've never seen him wear this, I think, and it's actually one of the dopest ones. I like it more than the black and purple one.
It was like a black and gold one, wasn't it? Or something like that?
The one for this match?
Yeah.
No, it's like gold and not black. I think it was like a brownish type of color.
Yeah.
Really good. Yuji starts off with some headlocks while Rey Mysterio tries to target the legs. They do some chain wrestling back and forth. Yuji manages to land a big clothesline for the pin, but Rey Mysterio kicks out. Rey lands a back body drop and then a hurricanrana to send Yuji to the outside. He then is about to dive to the outside, but the ref stops him for some reason. He's like, you can't do high fly offense.
Can't do it.
The ref goes to count Yuji, and that's when Rey jumps
Sentons over the top.
Right over.
Yeah, that would be his spot for the next 10 years.
And I've watched so many Rey matches that the second that the ref stops him, I'm like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. During this whole match, Dusty and Bobby are giving us just one of the greatest breakdowns of Japanese culture. It's honestly worth just going back to listen to the commentary. Rey puts Yuji in a camel clutch. Yuji gets to the rope and Rey starts stomping on Yuji. Rey tries a springboard move, but Yuji hits a flying spinning kick to catch Rey midair. Yuji then puts Rey in a couple different submission holds. I guess just basic rest holds for a little bit.
Wearing them down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After some back and forth, Yuji sends Rey to the outside, then lands a crossbody from the top rope.
Beautiful.
But it actually turns out to be like a double axe handle from the top rope because the camera, the way they filmed it, you don't see him going up, which was a weird thing that happened there.
Listen, they can't catch everything, all right, John? They
It's
can't
two
catch
guys in a ring.
All right?
They should.
Like, cut them some slack.
Zoom out a little bit.
They're too small.
Oh, man. Rey, back in the ring, Rey then hits... I don't know what this move's called. I just know what John Morrison calls it. So Rey hits a starship pain from the top rope.
I'm assume a split-legged moonsault.
Is that what it's called?
I would imagine.
Is that like the official? Can we get Mike Tenay here to? What the fuck?
I'll tweet him.
So yeah, he hits the starship pain.
Okay.
Then hits a power bomb on Yuji. He then drags Yuji to the center of the ring because he doesn't want no grabbing of the ropes or anything.
No excuses.
He then goes for a top rope move, but Yuji moves out of the way.
Beautiful.
He then hits a double arm DDT. He goes for the pin, but Rey kicks out. Yuji goes for the double arm DDT again, but Rey reverses it. Yuji tries a top rope move, but Rey hits a drop kick midair. He then hits a springboard hurricanrana for the win.
There you go.
Really, really, really dope match. If you're a fan of Rey, you should go watch this.
Yes.
Very underrated.
It's very weird to me that I mean, I guess I've obviously misinterpreted or misremembered. I thought Rey Mysterio was king of the cruiserweight division. I thought he had the cruiserweight title forever. Never dropped it or held it 6 or 7 different times. He has not been a whiff near the cruiserweight belt.
Yeah, no, reviewing WCW is basically the Mandela effect. Everything I thought I knew about it is completely different.
Honestly.
Because even Rey, Eddie, I thought Rey and Eddie were the top 2 guys of that entire division.
Not happening.
But
no. So very interesting. They were talking about how Rey is looking forward to getting to Syxx and getting the title off of Syxx. So I've completely forgot that Syxx was still the cruiserweight champion because he hasn't been defending the belt ever at all.
Also, a weird moment in this match at the end. Right before Rey leaves the arena, he goes to the camera and he's like, "You Japanese people." have to stop coming here disrespecting America and Mexico. And then he just walks away, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Listen, Rey Mysterio is laying down the law.
Oh my gosh.
None of this. Yes, so now, rightfully...
What we all came for.
Yeah, the cool down match.
No. This is the main event.
Listen, ever since you started saying that there was one match in the middle of every WCW card that was the absolute dog turd, you have been absolutely correct. And as soon as I saw this match, so nice they're doing it twice.
Yep.
It was garbage last month. So let's see. I was fully prepared to take the shit out of this match too. It is Glacier taking on Mortis with James Vandenberg. It is a rematch from last month.
I've watched way too many Glacier matches.
Far too many for my liking. Yes, again, this is in the wrong place, in the wrong era. This has no business being on this card.
Yeah.
But yet here we are. Yeah, the first match was garbage, but don't let that stop you.
Yeah, Glacier rushes into the ring because I guess, of course, well, not that I guess, of course, they have some feud because they're the only two gimmick fucking wrestlers.
Yes, yeah.
So he rushes into the ring. Mortis catches him running in.
Yep.
Starts beating him up.
Yep. Attacks a leg.
Yeah, tries to take it, hitting some moves on Glacier's knees. And then Wrath comes out like not even a minute later.
No.
Just comes down to the ring.
Yeah.
And that's when my bullshit fucking detector was just like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I was fully prepared to take the shit out of this match, but it doesn't last long enough.
It does not.
Wrath comes out, attacks Glacier from behind for the DQ finish. It's about 2 minutes long.
Listen, when Wrath attacks Glacier, the way Glacier falls is the funniest shit I've ever seen. He falls like a cartoon character.
He does. Because Glacier is garbage. Glacier is awful
All
at
he has to do is
everything.
drop on the floor. I don't know why he like bounced off the ropes, and then it was a mess.
He made it look good. All right, he maximized his minutes. So Wrath and Mortis are beating the dog turd out of Glacier until a random man hops the rail, gets into the ring, starts delivering some kicks, some spin kicks, some karate, and it turns out that it's Ernest Miller. I have no idea who Ernest Miller is.
Don't know who he is. But according to commentary, he's some karate champion.
Yes, he's a karate world champion. Yeah, no one knows who this man is. No one cares. I end up knowing Ernest Miller. He becomes commissioner of WCW. He does this kind of James Brown-esque gimmick later on in life. Like, it's all just awful. Listen, good friend of Eric Bischoff, so that's why he's here.
If they cut this match out, Luna and Medusa could have gotten an extra 5 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, at the very worst, they could have got an extra 2. You know, they could have gone 7 minutes.
Fuck.
You know? All the things that could have happened. So there's your turd in the punch bowl. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Match number 5. It is for the United States Championship as Dean Malenko takes on the challenger Jeff Jarrett with Mongo's wife, Deborah. Mm-hmm.
And this match hurt a little bit.
Did it?
This match hurt a little bit.
Did it?
Because
why was that?
Dean Malenko has been on a pay-per-view streak.
Incredible.
I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
From the first show we reviewed to now, it's just been classic after classic. Yeah. Even the ones that were not that great were still better than a lot of the shit on the pay-per-view.
Yes, indeed.
But this one, this one was a rough watch.
Well, I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's because Jeff Jarrett is here.
Probably Deborah.
Jeff Jarrett, who continues to want to fuck Mongo's wife. The thing that got the biggest pop out of me at the beginning was that there was somebody in the audience with a Korn t-shirt.
Okay.
Love a Korn t-shirt.
Fair enough.
Love Korn. Good band. solid band. Jarrett sucks chants, nice and loud, rightfully so. Yes, Dean has been a standout and a highlight for me.
Yeah.
And I hate Jeff Jarrett more and more. So I was fully ready to go in and dissect this match. Is it going to be any good? Is it going to be worth a damn? Let's see what happens.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So, of course, Dean and Jeff, they're starting out slow, feeling each other out. Dean Malenko is able to get Jarrett down and STF. Jeff Jarrett pulls off a move and tries to taunt, but Malenko, he always squares up to him. He's ready to pop him right in the teeth, right in the fucking teeth. And that's kind of the story of the match, is that Jeff Jarrett will pull off something and try to taunt, whereas Malenko will pull off a move and try to capitalize on said move like a good wrestler.
Fair.
Like perhaps a champion would.
Yep.
You know, instead of trying to impress another man's wife because he wants to slipper the old Pringles can. Yes, Bobby says that Malenko, he knows what he's doing when he's doing it. And Dusty Rhodes and Tony Schiavone are like, yep, that's what most people do.
I can't disagree with him. I can't disagree with him.
Dean drapes the leg over the rail and drop kicks it. Jeff Jarrett is able to lure him back into the ring and attack. Locks in the abdominal stretch, gets the help from Deborah McMichael a couple of times. Dean is able to get out of the abdominal stretch, but gets right back in there. Deb is still helping out Jeff Jarrett. Jeff manages to transition into a swinging neckbreaker. A figure 4 attempt, but Dean Malenko gets right on out of there. Says, no, you are not allowed to do such a move when we have Ric Flair in the main event. Dean Malenko goes for the Texas Cloverleaf, but Jeff rolls up. 2 count. A sleeper hold by Jeff Jarrett. Dean is out quickly, and a sleeper hold by Dean. Figure 4 leg lock, but Jeff gets the rope. Mongo comes down to the ring. Mr. Mongo takes his wife, sends Jeff Jarrett back into the ring, and says he can handle himself. All right?
Yeah.
We got to go get ready for my match. My match against Reggie White. Mr. Football Star. You shouldn't hang out for a title match. What's wrong with you? So he takes Deborah, lures her to the back. Dean Malenko is able to hook a double underhook powerbomb and right into the cloverleaf and a tap-out victory.
Yes.
Yes. A good match for Jeff Jarrett. Probably the best technical match that he's had on our podcast thus far. But a large step down for one Dean Malenko.
Yeah, this match was boring as shit. I'm not going to lie. I was watching this match, and the first half of this match was very boring. A lot of rest holds, a lot of, headlock, takedown, then stare at each other. Oh, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
It started getting a little bit more interesting during the end because I guess that's what Southern wrestling is. Like,
that is
just a bunch of rest holds till the end. Yeah, the whole Mongo situation is weird as fuck, especially once we get into the Mongo match.
Yes.
Because then it makes everything that happened in this match just make no sense.
Absolutely crumble. Match number 6. It is member of the Faces of Fear.
Meng.
Yes, it is the man called Ming.
Ming.
Taking on Chris Benoit in a death match.
Wrong person to be in there with, buddy.
Well, they didn't know that. They didn't know that at the time. Everything was normal back in 97. Everyone was alive. Fuck off. Right? He's not responsible for wording. Yes, Ming has been commissioned by Kevin Sullivan to take out Chris Benoit. Not pretty much to win the match, but to try and hurt Chris Benoit as much as possible.
Isn't that like the point of a death match?
Indeed, that is why it is a death match, yes. Benoit has ordered woman, do not throw in the towel. No matter what happens, I will fight to the bitter end, okay? Because the only way to win is by knockout or if you cannot answer, the count of 10. So the variation of the last man standing match, only with, I guess, submission or knockout thrown in there. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, so Ming comes down to the ring and he sends Jimmy Hart to the back. He says, "Get out of here!" And Jimmy Hart is like, "Okay, baby. Okay, baby, you got this. You got this, baby. You got this, baby." Chris Benoit comes out with a woman by his side. These two men stare down. Listen, these two men, stiff as hell. They know how to lay it in thick.
Yeah.
I expect this match to kick ass. All right, I was bubbling at the bit. Unfortunately, we don't quite get there. We don't quite get there. We were on the way, and we have moments of brilliance. We have Chris Benoit basically trying to do suplexes. At the beginning, a belly-to-belly to Ming, German suplex, but Ming is able to counter right back with a belly-to-belly of his own. Only way to win is by knockout, they repeat on commentary. Ming pushes away Chris Benoit, who's just chopping the bejesus out of Ming. Okay. But no, he's just taking it. Just taking the chops. Just absorbing them. Jackie, Miss Jacqueline is here. She comes to the top of the ramp. This is never a good sign. Normally somebody gets their ass kicked or becomes very sloppy indeed. Yeah. But woman walks right to the front, right to the top of the entranceway, and Jackie just walks away. Yeah, no confrontation, no nothing. Yes, Chris Benoit in a single leg Boston Crab, but he's able to get to the ropes. And then a power driver by Ming, a stiff-ass power driver. Benoit is able to recover and get a crossface on Ming. But Ming just gets out and beats the hell out of Chris Benoit. Just swinging, throwing the heavy lumber, knocking Benoit down like it's ugly. Benoit gets back up at the count of 7. He screams for Ming to come on, hit me. And Ming obliges, just beats the shit out of him again. Benoit gets up at 8. And he screams again to come on. Ming goes for a wild swing, but he ducks, and Benoit gets the German suplexes going for the 3-piece. He's only able to get off 2, but goes for a crossface again. Ming is able to slide out of the ring, and Benoit follows that up with a suicide dive. Back into the ring now, a diving headbutt caught right into the Tongan death grip. And he's got him. He's got him. And a woman is up there screaming, saying, "No, please, get out of it." Yeah, she wants to throw it in. She wants to give it up for him. But Benoit says, no, don't do it. And then he collapses, and that's the end of the match.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so Ming wins in a surprise victory. Yeah, as I said, it has moments of brilliance. When Benoit gets up and is like screaming at Ming to hit him and all that stuff, it does light up the crowd a bit. The suicide dive, the diving headbutt, it looks to be going in Benoit's favor. But yeah, the Tongan death grip, and that's it.
Yeah, but to me, at least any death match that isn't the main event, I just don't expect much from it because how deathy can you get when there's still like two more matches?
Ming and Benoit, they should be able to go hell for leather, but evidently not. Anyway, match number 7.
Yes, so match number 7, the Steiner brothers versus Hugh Morris and Conan. I believe this is their version of kind of ending the Dungeon of Doom experiment.
You say experiment. This has lasted for 3 years.
Yeah. This is their way of ending this dynasty of a team.
Very much.
Because this was a very random pairing of Hugh Morris and Conan.
I made a mental note here, and I wrote it down. I was like, it is odd that Conan is still a part of the Dungeon of Doom. Makes no sense. Conan should not be here.
Yeah, he doesn't even fit their overall,
He's
evil.
Very much going Latino gangster at this point.
1000%.
He is nowhere near the Zodiac, the Shark, Hugh Morris. Yeah.
No. He's like that one friend that isn't part of your friend group, but you still hang out with them.
Honestly.
He's that guy.
From the bygone era.
Yeah.
I hung out with him a couple times. in college. So now he just kind of tags along periodically. So in the interest of sharing the load,
didn't have to say that.
Take us through. So in the interest of sharing the load.
Jesus. So Scott and Hugh Morris start off with Scott landing arm drag, and Morris complaining that Scott pulled his hair. Then Morris,
greasy fucking man. See how greasy he is in this match.
Then Morris,
this ugly ass purple and black attire, looking like evil Barney.
Oh my God.
This grease ball.
Morris then lands a takedown on Scott, and Scott complains that Morris is pulling his hair. Very childish stuff to begin with. Kind of sets up what the rest of the match is going to be like.
Honestly.
Scott hits a belly to belly into a submission hold. Rick gets tagged in, and he starts running around and barking, like a regular human being. Morris starts beating up Rick in the corner. Classic. Rick manages to hit an overhead belly to belly suplex. Conan gets tagged in, but is met with a clothesline, followed by a suplex from Rick. Scott gets tagged in, and he lands an overhead belly to belly on Conan.
Indeed.
Scott is about to run the ropes, but gets tripped up by Jimmy Hart. Conan and Morris take advantage of this and start taking control of the match with quick tag outs and, double team moves and whatnot.
Certainly.
Rick manages to tag in, and he starts cleaning house, and the match basically breaks down. Conan is sent to the outside. Hugh Morris goes for, I can't believe it's called this, but he goes for the no laughing matter.
It does. The no laughing matter.
But Rick gets out of the way. Scott manages to land a Frankensteiner on Morris, which is always impressive to look at. And scary, but impressive. Rick goes for the pin. After the match, Conan beats up Morris, and you can see more cracks starting to form in the Dungeon of Doom.
Oh, yes. Yes. Conan beats the piss out of Hugh Morris, walks right out, and as I say, it's odd that he's in the Dungeon of Doom. It looks like he's leaving.
This might be it for him.
There you go. So, another clunker of a match. Just a whatever affair. It's
just
definitely
some
miserable.
Yeah, it's some filler.
You can skip this one. And then we have a promo for the Bash, the Great American Bash.
Hit it.
Wouldn't be a barbecue without you. Yo, bro, welcome to the Bash. WCW presents the Great American Bash with plenty of meat to sink your teeth into. Dude, you want a dog? Want some mustard? This ain't no picnic, monkey boy.
It's the Great American Bash.
It's WCW's Great American Bash, Sunday, June 15th, live and only on pay-per-view. Call your cable or satellite company to order now.
I was most impressed with the fact that it is exactly 30 seconds.
I don't know what's up with WCW and their pay-per-view names, because we go from like super southern, like Spring Stampede and Slamboree, to like very American, like Great American Bash.
I mean, you can thank Dusty Rhodes for that one. He's the guy that came up with the concept for the Great American Bash. It started out as a tour, actually, where they did like 40 days or something like that.
Okay.
It was like a 40-day tour around the territory way back when, and it used to have different main events all the time.
Okay.
Which was really refreshing. It was when Dusty Rhodes was trying to go for the world title.
Okay.
But it was Dusty Rhodes and Flair, and they would be in like a cage match, and they would somehow end in like a Dusty finish 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And then they had the Road Warriors versus the Four Horsemen. They had the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express. So every night was a different thing.
Yeah.
So, and then it just became a yearly event.
All right.
There you go.
Can't wait to review it.
Oh, yes. It is up next on our timeline. Looking forward to it. So here we go. The semi-main event.
Luna and Medusa got 5 minutes.
They sure did.
Holy fuck.
Because we have to make room for the veteran. 1 year pro, Steve Mongo McMichael, taking on the man in his first wrestling match ever, Reggie White. All right, so who is Reggie White?
Football player.
He has the number 92 on his jersey. He's part of the Green Bay Packers. He pro bowler.
Yep.
So he does some bowling in his spare time. That's good.
Yep. A member. He actually does end up joining the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
So
Okay.
but that happens later on in his career.
All right.
I'm not sure if that's interesting enough. He's
hey, it's something. Something.
He's won a Super Bowl.
Oh,
there we go.
Look at that. What year?
What
year did he win?
In 97. This all makes sense now.
There you go.
This all makes sense.
Yes. All right. Well,
all right.
Him and the Green Bay Packers have done well. They do the 3-point stance thing. Reggie White hits a awful clothesline.
One of the worst clotheslines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
By like a mile. This is one of the worst clotheslines I've ever seen. He hits like his shoulder. Like it wasn't even. Yeah. Oh my God.
And this, for the first 5 minutes of this match, is a lot of grandstanding and hot dogging.
Yeah.
Mongo steps out of the ring, gets back into the ring, clips the leg, doesn't clip the leg.
They'll do shoulder tackles. Neither man budges. One gets a headlock. The other one gets out.
Yeah.
Shoulder tackle. Then the other guy puts a headlock. And then he gets out. Then they do like some stare downs. And they're like, hey. And then they do another shoulder tackle and then a headlock. It's just this for like the first 8 minutes of the match.
I mean, this match made me nauseous.
I watched this whole match because I wanted to see how bad it would get. And every minute it would just get worse.
Yes.
And worse.
Oh, yeah. Mongo says that he's out of here. He's leaving. But then defensive lineman, I think, Gilbert Brown, gets him in the fireman's carry and sends Mongo back to the ring.
And now, because I sometimes do my research, sometimes do not expect this every podcast.
I don't.
But I did read that apparently around that time when he carries him and throws him back into the ring, someone told Steve, hey, we just got orders from the back, cut this shit short. This shouldn't be 15 minutes. Someone in the back told him, but because Reggie White's, this is his first fucking pay-per-view match, and Mongo's only been around for like a year, he's like, I don't feel comfortable going off script and doing some other shit.
Oh, no.
So they just kept going.
Oh, no.
This was apparently supposed to end around that time when big dude came up and stopped him.
Right. So it should have ended at the drop kick by Reggie and the cover.
Yes.
Because I'm like, sadly, that's not the finish, and this horrible match must continue.
Because they rehearsed this like religiously, right? So they knew they had this whole thing rehearsed.
Yes.
And Mongo's like, I'm not gonna change course because he's only been wrestling for a year, and Reggie, of course, has never wrestled before, so he can't go off course. So they just kept it going.
Oh my God! Because it was the perfect finish. When he throws him back into the ring, Mongo gets up, he gets a drop kick, which Reggie's only good move.
It wasn't the best drop, but he got height onto it, so it was decent. Yeah. It would have been a great ending.
Mongo fell backwards, he didn't fall forwards. Because Mongo doesn't even get the arm wrench on right. He's got the arm wrench on backwards. Another awful swinging clothesline by Reggie.
Yeah, so we had to wait another 5 fucking more minutes of this terrible catastrophe.
Mongo goes to the top rope and gets backdropped off of it. Oh my god. This is where everybody on commentary is trying to big these men up where Tony is saying, "Oh, Mongo is all pro." And I'm like, yeah. 1 year pro. 1 year.
Yeah.
And it's going a solid 15 minutes. Reggie White is able to reverse a suplex into one of his own. A fucked up splash. But Deb has got the ref distracted. Mongo tries to get the briefcase, but Gilbert fumbles to get the briefcase himself. But all of a sudden, Jeff Jarrett comes down, and he's got a briefcase of his own, and he throws one to Mongo. And they hit Reggie. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god!
Yeah, because the whole thing is that this fucking briefcase, he uses it so much that's even dented and everything.
Yeah.
And then you're telling me that there's just another fucking briefcase just out there?
Just a brand new briefcase.
And also, why would Jeff Jarrett help him after he cost him the match?
Yeah.
This was the worst.
This was a miserable match.
The fucking worst.
It's a miserable match. I don't know if I'd go as far.
Reggie White put on what's it called?
Fucking the nerve hold.
Pinch.
Oh god, yes.
Which was fucking terrible.
And it was the weakest crab-like looking pinch. Oh, I totally forgot about that. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like the worst match that I've ever seen, because it's not. I don't know if I'd go into negative star territory if I was doing that. But it has no business. 1, it has no business being 15 minutes. 2, it has no business being semi-main event. And 3, it has no business being a singles match.
Listen, if it was shorter, it would have been better, but the fact that this one 15 minutes, I don't know, it doesn't get a negative star, but it doesn't get a 1 either. It's a good 0.
Yeah, like this
0.
really needed to be a tag match.
Yeah.
Like this really, like if they put Mongo and Jeff,
or put him in there with someone that isn't Mongo.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
But even if you did like Mongo and Jeff versus Reggie, and for argument's sake, let's say Dean Malenko. Just because. Right? At least, you would have had the technical prowess of Dean to carry it. You would have had Jeff Jarrett, who would have bumped around for him and knew how to do. Because
or even
Southern
that would have been better. Even
that
would Jeff Jarrett versus Reggie White would have been again. No mix of this would have helped this, but it would have been better than Mongo.
Because Jeff, the Southern style, complements celebrities very well because you can do the pantomime and the shtick.
And that's the thing, Jeff can play a good heel and can waste a bunch of time doing the strut and all that stuff. Right?
So that would have complemented Reggie more than doing the, but you want to do the footballer versus the footballer. And it's like, and this is what we were talking about earlier. Like they go to the well with these celebs and athletes way too much for in-ring action.
But one of the things that Reggie White did admit years later before he died, he did say that wrestling is one of the most like physical things he's ever done.
Oh, certainly.
Which I was like, that's
I think
nice to hear.
A lot of the sports athletes say the same thing. Yeah. I know that Lawrence Taylor, when he wrestled at WrestleMania 11 with Bam Bam, he was completely blown up that he couldn't even stand.
Yeah.
And he was like, wrestling is the toughest fucking thing. Like, it is no joke. Landing on that mat is just a bit of, some tissue paper and some wood.
And listen, I've seen them take apart those rings. There's no, it's not like everyone says. There's no cushion under there.
It's
There's
ugly.
no sweet spot to land on. everything hurts.
It's ugly. It's
Everything
ugly.
hurts.
So a lot of sports athletes, when they actually do it and do it properly, wrestling is no joke.
Because again, you hear the whole fake thing, and you think it's like a cakewalk. Then you get in there, and then you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a couple of bumps.
Yeah, I remember
on the ring, and good lord, the way that the room spins.
It's not the greatest.
It's uncomfortable, to say the least. But it is now time for our main event. It is the Wolfpack, the Outsiders, back together. Scott Hall, back from exile, back from disappearance, which they never explain.
No.
Kevin Nash only hints at it, saying that there's bigger stuff than the wrestling business. Yeah. That's it.
And again, and if you see their entrance, you wouldn't even notice.
No.
Because they came out and they just had the same swagger and coolness.
Yeah.
And you would literally not know that something terrible was going on in the life of Scott Hall.
Yeah. Like Scott Hall is, this is the first of many battles with demons.
Yeah.
And, and dealing with that stuff. I think he was gone at this point for a traffic incident, I believe. Might have been a crash of some sort or a DUI of something of that nature. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on it. But you wouldn't notice. He comes out exactly the same. He's got the swagger. He's got the coolness. He looks fine. He's on top form.
Yeah.
But yes, it is the Wolfpack versus Roddy Piper, Kevin Greene, and the returning Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Scott Hall is back.
Yeah.
Ric Flair is back.
Who got like a really, really good pop. Well, of course, this is his
Flair country. It's Flair country, man. Yes. So it's still amazing to think that this is the first time that we are seeing Ric Flair wrestle on the WCW portion of our podcast.
Yeah.
The last time that we saw him was at the Survivor Series, 1991.
Holy shit.
Yeah, in a match in which he was phoning it in something wicked.
Yeah, well, I guess we haven't reviewed a proper Ric Flair match on this podcast.
We absolutely have not.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and he's been injured this whole time. That's why Mean Gene has had nothing to do. Ric Flair as well, so he didn't have anybody to interview.
No one to stand on top of the ramp with him.
No. So here's a weird thing. When the match starts, Ric Flair, so Tony Schiavone talks about Ric Flair winning the world's title back in 1993.
Okay.
In the Greensboro Coliseum. So he's talking about Vader, because it's Starrcade in 1993. It was Ric Flair versus Vader, and Vader was the champ. Ric Flair wins. It's a phenomenal match. If you have not seen that match, you have to check out that match.
Okay.
It is unbelievable.
Starrcade 93?
93, yes.
Okay.
We might even cover Ric Flair's return to WCW in 93, because there's a lot of gold in them there hills. But
okay.
Something for another time. But Tony Schiavone does this very weird thing where he says Ric Flair beat a big man on that night, and that man was never to be seen again, by the way. And I'm like, well, that's just absolutely false. But okay, because Vader lost, but he was stuck around for the next year.
Was it like some beef or something?
I think they just were taking a dig at Vader and trying to put Ric Flair over at the same time. Okay. But it was a very odd way to start with something that is just downright false. But Ric Flair and Syxx are the ones to start out.
Yep.
Syxx takes down Ric Flair, tries to do the strut, but gets a wicked chop instead. Gets absolutely chopped to hell. Ric Flair is on absolute fire. Like, he takes a spinning heel kick from Syxx, but that does not stop him at all.
Yeah, like I saw him taking some of the offense from Syxx. First of all, like, I was very curious to see how they would work together. Of course, Syxx is amazing. Ric Flair's amazing. But I've never seen Ric Flair in this time period.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure what Flair I was going to get, especially since he's been injured this whole time. I'm like, what Flair are we getting?
Yeah.
But when I saw him taking the offense from Syxx, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Yes. Well, and we'll get into it at the end of this matchup because there's a lot of stuff to unpack here that's going to continue to grow as our podcast goes on. But I will get back to it. Ric Flair with the chops and the punches and the woos, and the crowd is white hot. Scott Hall comes in. He gets taken down. Ric Flair does a chop to Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash just stands there like, you motherfucker.
How dare you?
You motherfucker. And Ric Flair is doing the gyrations and the struts and the woos, and he's like, and it's like, what the hell is happening?
A great time.
Wonderful. Yes. And then Dusty says, jump your ass on tradition. Jump your ass on tradition.
Oh my God.
And then as Scott Hall gets tagged in, Kevin Greene gets tagged in.
I've never seen a Kevin Greene before.
Yeah.
Any of his matches. Nothing from him.
Yes.
What's wrong with him? Why did he start the match like that?
He's hyped. He's jacked up, man.
Like, he gets tagged in and he loses his shit.
Yeah.
He's doing push-ups.
Yeah.
He's shaking the ropes.
He's
while
fired up.
Skull's just like looking at him like, what the fuck?
Well, you can't say that it doesn't work because the crowd is right there for it.
Listen, this crowd, I'm not sure what they gave them before coming in here.
Hey.
But they were hot even for this shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey, man.
But they were eating it up. They loved it.
So, yes, Kevin Greene is in, and then Kevin Nash gets tagged in.
Yeah.
Yes. And I could call his spots with my eyes closed.
You know what he's doing.
The knee to the gut, take him into the
Back
corner,
elbow.
Knees, 2 back elbows, taunt. Like, literally, I was typing it out, and I wasn't even looking at the screen. I was like, same damn thing over and over again.
Honestly, I did the exact same thing. The second he grabbed him and he was taking him to the corner, I'm like, okay, so elbow, knees.
Honestly. But, Kevin Greene manages a clothesline. Clotheslines the absolute bejesus out of him, and then a body slam to Kevin Nash as well. Double clothesline to Hall and Syxx. Everybody goes out. Scott Hall manages to get back in, and he wants Piper. Roddy Piper, who has been injured. He has the leg heavily bandaged. Heavily bandaged.
Yeah. And you can tell because Hall, once he gets tagged in, Hall, you see Hall like slapping
slaps his leg.
injury. He's like,
slaps his thigh, and then Roddy Piper slaps Scott Hall right across the face. Yes, Piper is in, fists flying at record speed. Like, good Lord, really fast. And then a knee lift by Roddy Piper, but Hall manages to pull him back into the enemy corner, but Piper fights right out of it. The crowd is electric. Syxx attacks the leg from behind in the NWO work over Roddy Piper, but only for a minute as the hot tag to Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ric Flair takes the up and over the turnbuckle. He goes to climb to the top. He goes for a crossbody. Scott Hall catches Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Unreal. And delivers a fallaway slam. Beautiful stuff. Ric Flair is sent to the outside. It's pure chaos in the outside.
Yeah, Syxx tries jump. No, they send Ric Flair to the outside. Piper comes in to check on Ric Flair. Syxx ends up jumping both of them. Greene comes out of nowhere.
Tackles the shit out of Syxx.
Fucking shoulder tackle sends Syxx flying.
Good Lord. But then Nash, just out of nowhere with a stiff big boot to Ric Flair's face.
To like the back side of the head of Ric Flair.
Oh my God. Nash is in working over Ric Flair, a massive sidewalk slam. The goddamn Bronco Buster by Syxx. And it is at this point, after the Syxx Bronco Buster, don't know if you heard the crowd, but it was loud and proud, the F-word chants. The homophobic F-word chants. Oh, man.
It was a different era.
My God. It was so loud. Ooh. Ric Flair is able to fight out of the onslaught of the Wolfpack and manages to get a tag to Roddy Piper, but the referee doesn't see it. Roddy Piper doesn't care about that, though, and punches Randy Anderson right in the chops.
I hope these refs have a good insurance, because having Piper and Macho Man just knocking them out every week is
just for no reason.
No good.
Unprovoked, uncalled for. Randy Anderson is down. It is a pure Syxx brawl, as the Gordon Soley would say. And then Nick Patrick comes down to ringside. He's been reinstated, it seems.
And he's checking in on the ref that just got knocked out.
And he's in classic WCW referee uniform.
Not a backwards hat.
No NWO thing here. Oh, yes. Ric Flair reverses Hall into the figure 4 leg lock. Greene takes out Nash, and then Roddy Piper locks in the sleeper, and then Kevin Greene takes Syxx and delivers a beautiful power slam. A 3 count takes place. All 3 men are down and out, clean as a whistle. Ric Flair, Kevin Greene, Roddy Piper are victorious in this main event.
Wow.
What did you think about this?
Like the main event. I like these sort of like very overly booked, very, it's very chaotic type of matches. They're a whole lot of fun when done right. I didn't like the ending, and
really?
I wanted to see where you were at with this, because I know they're doing Piper Hogan, and that's like the main feud, but I don't think all 3 members of NWO should have got pinned like that, like so clean by Piper. Even though he's the main guy in the story, he's still a old timer. Ric Flair coming back from injury, Greene, who's just some random football player. I don't think your main guys who've been holding it down since Hogan just doesn't want to show up, and Piper is only here and there. Having your main guys get pinned like that in the middle of the ring, 2 guys getting submitted, 1 guy's getting tapped. I just didn't like that whole scene of even like them walking off and NWO just kind of laying in the ring. I was like, for Slamboree? Really? That's where you want to do this angle at Slamboree?
That's what they want to do.
Against Kevin fucking Greene? All right.
I loved it.
Really?
I loved this main event, and I loved it. I am thinking about it with the context of since last year, since July, August, you could argue, of last year, the NWO has been booked so strong.
Yeah.
They have been booked like unbeatable killers. Unreal. They have had the tag titles held hostage. They've had the world titles held hostage. They've stolen the U.S. belt on a number of occasions.
Multiple times.
Cruiserweight title right now onto the waist of Syxx. They've been booked strong. They won against 6 members at Uncensored. They have beaten Roddy Piper at Super Brawl. They're all over the television. They've had their own pay-per-view. So I totally understand your point about because you do need secondary top-level heels, and I think that this could diminish them slightly by taking such a clean loss. But I think there was probably very little other way to do it because Ric Flair needs the win. He's coming back off an injury.
It's his
to have him lose would be stupid.
Kevin
Greene, whatever. He had a good showing. He was
very decent. Yeah, he was very decent.
And Roddy Piper could do with a win because he hasn't won anything since Starrcade '96. And just the image of watching the Wolfpack just lay down clean for all of these guys. I mean, I had a lot of respect for them. Because, if you had a dirty finish of any sort, or if you had a tainted win where there's a bunch of run-ins and mix-up, I think it would have dampened the victory for the baby faces.
Well, again, my thing is more like if maybe they replace Syxx with, Scott Norton or Buff Bagwell or something. Just at least so it can be okay, the Wolfpack took a loss. It's going to be just, Buff Bagwell took a loss, or
Yeah.
one of the other guys.
But like by saying that, like that is a diminished victory, right? Like that's not the same as beating the Wolfpack, right? Like that's a big deal for WCW. So
maybe if WCW didn't fucking have just one heel group and spread. God, like
this is
fair. The thing about having just one thing is like if someone has to take a loss, you got to throw your guys in the fire type of thing, right?
The only thing that I would probably argue and agree on your point is that I wouldn't have had all three of them lay down. I would have had maybe just Syxx take
exactly.
the loss. But
that's what I thought Syxx was in the ring for,
right?
Because when I saw him start off with Ric Flair, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be the middle ground. Like, of course,
he's going to be the guy to take the pin. Yeah.
I didn't know Ric Flair was still going to be that fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, so he's not going to be just a punching bag.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a proper match. But then when I saw all three of them lay down, I'm like, oh, this doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So I can understand that. But I think the image of all three of them getting their comeuppance in Flair country and a big WCW win and a hooray. And this also is going to transition into more meetings between the outsiders, the Wolfpack, Flair, and Piper. And that's what I wanted to get into.
Okay.
Because there is some heat here, my friend, that is only going to get worse.
Yeah, because you were talking about in the last couple podcasts.
Yes. One, Ric Flair and Syxx do not like each other. Ric Flair is not a fan of selling for Syxx. He's really not a fan of taking the Bronco Buster. And he feels that Syxx is way beneath the caliber of Ric Flair. The outsiders are, of course, angry with Roddy Piper because of his unwillingness to lose to Hollywood Hogan cleanly.
Yeah.
And we're going to see in the promos that lead up to the tag match that takes place at the Great American Bash next month, things are turning into a bit of a shoot.
Holy shit.
Yeah. These four men do not like each other. There's backstage scuttlebutt.
Wait, so the tag match is going to be Hogan. It's going to be, Piper
and Flair challenging for the tag belts.
Versus
with
outsiders.
Is it the tag belts? I'm not even sure if it's the tag belts. I think it might be. I think they're going to win them back. But it's the outsiders versus Piper and Flair anyway. Okay. And these guys do not like each other. It's only going to get worse. And the television programs are going to get quite interesting as they try to navigate this stuff. So much so that Eric Bischoff has to eventually step in and do what Vince McMahon didn't do with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and split these people up. There's brawls in the backstage. There's brawls out on in front of the camera. A lot of crazy shit happening. So this is a catalyst. Oh, yes.
This is going to get good.
This is just the beginning of very murky water as Roddy Piper tries to get back into business with Hollywood Hogan. And we still have a ways to go in order to get there. But it's a fun train ride on the way. Match of the night, standout star, and the overall show grade for Slamboree 1997.
All right. Well, I'll start off. Overall show grade, I'll give it a 2.5.
2.5.
Yes. Great start.
Yes.
Amazing first half from Regal and Dragon till I think Ray and Yuji.
Yes.
Yeah, that first half. Perfect. Wouldn't change. Well, giving Luna and Thing a little bit more time, but wouldn't change anything. Perfect first half.
Beautiful.
Second half, that's when shit got rocky. Mortis Glacier was terrible. Jeff Jarrett Dean was
underwhelming.
Yeah, Meng and Benoit. Fuck, I can't talk anymore. Yeah, they were good, but didn't live up to what we expected from them.
I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah, Steiner Brothers and Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the main event was great.
Yeah.
So that's what saved it from being like a one
a
or
1-star
two.
show. Ooh,
that
man.
main event, because it's like if you get through the first half and then just go to the main event, this show would be great. But it's just like the little duds that always happen in like the middle section.
Always.
But yeah, a good 2.5 is fine.
All right.
Match of the night, it was between Regal, Dragon, and the main event.
Yes.
I leaned a little bit towards the main event just because it was such a fun watch. Even Kevin Greene was entertaining.
I thought he was great. Yeah, he surprised me.
Listen, man, standout star DDP. Loved his stuff with Macho Man, even though he didn't wrestle or anything. His whole segment with Macho Man was fucking beautiful.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, lovely. Match of the night for me is 1,000% the main event.
Yeah.
1,000%. The crowd was there, lightning hot. Couldn't get any better. I think the right team won, and I enjoyed the finish. I enjoyed the way that the finish went down. I could understand the negatives that could be attributed to it, but I think in the end, the Wolfpack are fine.
Yeah.
They can take the loss and be okay. And as a matter of fact, that transitions into my standout stars, which are the Wolfpack, that chose to lay down completely clean. Now, I don't know what the backstage scuttlebutt is, or if they had to be coerced into it, or if they weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they laid down clean as a fucking sheet. All three of them.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for them because you always hear about the politics. They never lay down for anybody. They never lose. Yada, yada, yada. Here they are. The three top, besides Hollywood Hogan, which you know is never going to take a clean loss. Here's the Wolfpack saying, we can lay down, we can do business, and completely do the clean loss. And
the biggest stars in the company. Too,
yeah, right. And there's no, like, heel revenge. Like, there's no, like, we'll get our heat back before the show goes off air. No, it's just send the fans home happy for a change.
Yeah.
6-8 months of just pure NWO on top, NWO on top, NWO on top, NWO on top. So it's refreshing and it's really nice. So for that, I have a lot of respect for them. Scott Hall, if he's still dealing with personal demons, you wouldn't know it. He put on a great showing.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, 6 Minutes of Doom, but his character has been good.
Yeah, and even like you were saying with Syxx and Ric Flair not liking each other.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell from this match because even, they put their whatever they had to the side and were able to do their thing too.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wolfpack gets nothing but praise from me. Honorable mention to the opening match of Steven Regal and the Dragon. I thought that was a fantastic match. And, there were a couple of decent matches on the card as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jeff Jarrett and Dean was underwhelming, but it was still good. Reggie White and Mongo just brought this show to a screeching halt. Felt like 5 hours long. Yeah. But be that as it may, I'm giving it a 3.5. I think it started on a high and it ended on a high. And it had enough in the middle to keep me entertained enough to get to the next segment. Yeah.
Because even just to throw a bone to them, even though Glacier and Mortis is a terrible concept and it's not right for the era, if you're just in it for some giggles, it's not that bad. Yeah. Like if you're just in it just for the laughs, you'll get some laughs out of it.
It's not my cup of tea, but again, there's something for everybody in WCW.
And if for some reason you fall in the category of people who like Mortal Kombat and wrestling, this might be for you.
This is for you. This is for you.
If you know who that karate champion is, this just might be for you.
There you go. But that was Slamboree, and we are moving on to the Great American Bash. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in to the Colossal Tussle podcast, episode number 25.
Yep.
Episode 25. We're doing amazing stuff. Yes, where can they find us? Where can they listen to us? follow us, all that jazz.
Follow us on all the socials, on Twitter at The Colossal Tussle 1, YouTube at The Colossal Tussle, and then wherever you listen to podcasts, it's at The Colossal Tussle. So that's Spotify, Apple Music, and all that other good shit.
Yes, yep. Stitcher, Amazon, all of that beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Just
Audible.
Go on your computer, type in The Colossal Tussle.
Yes.
Click all of those things.
Like, share, notify. Yeah, spread us around. Mm-hmm. If you have somebody that's interested in a brand new podcast or interested in wrestling, interested in the old school and not the dirty, disgusting current era, all that murky nonsense, send them our way. Give us a listen. And support Canadian independent wrestling and all that jazz as we continue our lovely podcast, The Road to Halloween Havoc 1997. We are full steam ahead in our case study of Piper and Hogan. Yeah. If you would like to sponsor the podcast and have us promote anything that you wish, anything that you would like us to plug, please feel free to shoot me and Just John an email at colossaltusslepod@gmail.com. Once again, colossaltusslepod@gmail.com. I'm not going to spell it for you. Look at our goddamn logo.
Put in the description so you can
there you go.
Copy and
It'll
paste.
Go in the description. But yes, the sponsor, if you would like to, we can negotiate deals and all that fun jazz, and we will sponsor anything you so choose.
Anything.
Yes, we thank you very much. We have entered into Australia. People are listening to us in Australia. We are international, baby.
I wanted to make a joke, but I feel like all of it would be offensive. So shout out to Australia.
Yes. Shout out to Australia. And yes, until next we meet. For Just John, I am KJ Johnson, your Colossal Tussle Tandem, and we are out.